Hello and welcome to the Connected Yoga Teacher podcast. Today, I am diving in a little bit further into the conversation that we've been having around niching down, also known as specializing. And today's question is really about, do I need to specialize? Do I need to niche down? The last episode that we recorded, episode 353, made me think, let me take a step back and let me share this PDF that I've got. And that's what I'm going to do today. But before I get into all of that, let me also introduce myself. I'm your host, Shannon Crow. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And this podcast is being recorded on the traditional territory of the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Mississauga people. I'm really passionate about continuing to learn and unlearn and learn again about the Anishinaabe people who were here on this land long before my settler ancestors arrived here to Turtle Island. I'm also a Canadian yoga teacher, a mom of 3, an entrepreneur, and someone who really likes to ask a lot of questions and try and understand and break things down. And that's why I think the podcast is a good fit, because I get to ask questions about yoga and running a business, and together we get to hang out and learn. I want to give a huge shout out of thanks to OfferingTree. I use and love this software in my own business because it automates everything from bookings to payments to Zoom links, reminders, and so much more. And we have a special podcast listener discount code for you over at OfferingTree.com/Shannon. Today's episode is also brought to you by Pelvic Health Professionals. You can check this out over at pelvichealthprofessionals.com. I'm really excited about this. We've been doing some amazing things over there. We have a yoga series coming up really soon in the new year that's yoga for pelvic cancer with Tyla. And we just really see how we can tie in the information around pelvic health, learn from worldwide pelvic health experts, and then learn together in real time and have the replays and the notes ready for you. It's a fantastic place to hang out if you're working with bodies that have a pelvis. So make sure to check that out over at pelvichealthprofessionals.com. So that's really my specialty. My niche has been pelvic health for a long time now. Oh my gosh, how long has it been? It's been almost 10 years that's been my niche. And as I worked at niching down, I also talked on this podcast about it, and I talked with many yoga teachers over the years about niching down, and it's something I love to talk about. Talking about niching and specializing is another niche of mine. And you might have heard in a few episodes yoga teachers that I've worked with who have niched down, who took a workshop of mine, and I wanted to give you something that is a distilled version of that. So you don't have to do days and days of a workshop with me. We'll dig into some key questions here to even figure out if that's something that you need to be doing. And there is a PDF to go along with this. I talked about it in last week's episode that I was going to give you the PDF, but I thought, you know what, why don't I read it out as well? Because I know some of you are driving, and this is the type of little quiz that you could do even if you're just listening and you don't have pen and paper with you. So it's a true and false quiz. You can jot this down if you want. And again, the PDF is ready for you to download. That's over at theconnectedyogateacher.com/354. So you'll answer true or false to these and just pay attention to how many true you have, how many false you have. So the very first one, I'm a new teacher trying out various styles of yoga, times, studios, and student groups. So is that true or false? Number 2, I have zero desire to niche down or specialize right now. True or false? If that's true, I would say maybe now is not the time to niche down. Okay. Let's dig into the next one. Number 3, I'm making great money and I love my schedule. So if you are already loving how things are set up on your calendar, you don't feel like you're running all over and kind of spreading yourself too thin. And on top of that, if you're making a great income for the work that you're doing, you may not need to specialize and niche down. You might just need to keep going. Okay. Number 4, I'm well known for my specialty and expertise. This is a great question if you want to dig into why you're thinking about niching down or specializing. So some yoga teachers that I know want to be known as the expert in their community or an online expert on a certain topic that relates to yoga. And we've had some great examples of this recently on the podcast. I've been really trying to highlight people who have a very niche yoga offering. Connected yoga teachers, I'm popping in here for a moment in the middle of this quiz to tell you about OfferingTree. So yes, they sponsor the podcast, and that is bringing it to your ears today. But I also want to tell you that I use OfferingTree myself because everything is so automatic when I use them. The yoga series that we're hosting soon in the beginning of 2024 is being done through OfferingTree because I love that when people sign up, they can see their time zone. They get the Zoom link automatically. They get reminder emails and texts, and the waiver is there. All of the information is there. It really makes the whole process so much easier. If you want to check out the next yoga series that we're doing, and you want to see how it looks when we have this booking software, OfferingTree, visit Pelvic Health Professionals and click on yoga. So our next series begins in January. Tyla is teaching 6 weeks of yoga for pelvic cancer. Anyone can sign up. Make sure to tell your friends if they're dealing with a cancer diagnosis. And also, it's really set up for yoga teachers to be able to take the class and see how a yoga for the cancer community class is run. If you want to get to know Tyla a little bit more as well, we can link to the podcast that we recently did with her here in the show notes. And if you're thinking, gosh, I need things to be easier in my business. I need bookings to be easier, my website, how I send out emails, and all of those things, make sure to check out OfferingTree. And we have a special discount code for you over at OfferingTree.com/Shannon. Alrighty, let's get back into the last half of this quiz. Should you specialize? Okay, what are we at now? Number 5, I think. I'm not afraid to refer students to other teachers when my yoga isn't a good fit for them. True or false? The reason why I bring this up is because when you start to niche down and specialize, that's what's happening. You will be referring people out to other teachers. For example, if you don't teach children's yoga, it's nice to know who in your area does teach children's yoga. And sometimes when we're new teachers, we're like, I'm going to teach everything. I'll teach children's yoga, and then I'll teach some gentle, and then I'll teach some hot yoga. I remember being like that. And then slowly I got to this place where I thought, no, this is the yoga that I teach, and anything else I'm referring out. And if the thought of that makes you panic a little bit, thinking that there's going to be a shortage of yoga students, there isn't. Especially when you start to niche down and specialize, you will have more students. Trust me. Okay, number 6, true or false? My ideal students easily find me and register. So this is a short one, but it's got a lot behind it. So we want to figure out who is your ideal student. Are they able to find you because they can do a quick search for you, or they know about you in your community? And then can they register for your offerings easily? Number 7, I barely have to work to market my yoga offerings. So if you've niched down and specialized enough, you might actually get to the place where you barely have to market things. And if you're already there, if you don't have to do a lot of marketing and you've had a lot of like, yeah, we're all good and all of these questions, and they're true, then you might be able to skip niching down right now. Okay, number 8, we're almost finished. Healthcare providers, family, and friends refer students to me. So are people talking about you? Let's say you teach yoga for sleep. Are doctors and friends and family telling people, oh yeah, you're having trouble sleeping? Well, go see Sue. She teaches yoga for sleep. Okay, last question, true or false? I often get asked to speak about my area of expertise. So if you answered false to any of these statements, you might want to think about niching down. It might be time for you to do that. Again, this is just a rough list. This is one that I have found really helpful over the years for myself. It's one that I kind of go through this in very long trainings sometimes, or workshops or consultation calls with yoga teachers, and we break this down slowly. If you are feeling like, okay, I went through this list and it's really time for me to niche down, I do have some spots available for consultation calls. I'll make sure to link to that in our show notes, but you can also go to our website, theconnectedyogateacher.com, and click on Work with Shannon. And if ever you go to book a consultation call and the price of the call is holding you back, make sure to reach out to me and let me know. I want to make sure that yoga teachers find my offerings accessible even when finances don't match what's going on with my consultation calls. We can always chat about that. Alrighty, before we wrap things up here today, I want to send a huge thank you out to our entire team over here, Crunch, Sinead, and Suzanne, for all of the work that they put into each and every podcast and into the world and the other work that they do. And I also want to thank you, dear listener, for being here all the way to the end. I'm so curious to hear what your questions are after you take this quiz about niching down or specializing. Again, you can get the PDF over at our website. Download that. Let me know then. Tag me in our Facebook group if that works for you. TheConnectedYogaTeacher.com is where you can find the button to join our Facebook group for global yoga teachers. Or you can reply to an email at any point and ask me a niche question. I might even get to it on the podcast. If you have not already left a review for the podcast, that's the biggest gift that you can leave for us as we close out this year and get ready for a new year. We've got a huge lineup of exciting guests and topics, and it's all led by you and your questions. So keep sending us the questions, keep telling us what you'd like us to cover. When I hear of a new topic, it's amazing that all the way up to, episode 354 now today, 354 weeks of this, and we still have so many topics we haven't covered. If you want to hang out in real time, there are a couple of ways that you can do that. You can book a consultation call with me, and that way I can look at your business for an hour and really help you to define your niche if that's what you'd like to do. I'll make sure to put a link to that in our show notes, or you can head to our website and look for the Work with Shannon button. And the other thing we have happening, January the 10th, we're going to start the Yoga for Pelvic Cancer with Tyla, that yoga series. It's a 6-week series. I'm so excited about this. Again, anyone can attend, yoga teachers, yoga students, someone who's never done yoga before. Everyone is welcome to join who's interested. Visit Pelvic Health Professionals and then click on yoga and you'll see the Yoga for Pelvic Cancer with Tyla offered there. As I close things out here today, I want to leave you with a question. I would like to know, what will you be doing this week to stay connected to yourself, your yoga practice, and to your community so that you can share the yoga that lights you up?